Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, everybody. If you are tuning into AfterBuzzTV.com or YouTube.com/YouTube AfterBuzz TV, hey. This is The Amazing Race After Show for Season 26, Episode 4, The Great Amazing Nasty Race. I'm your host, James Wallington, and with me across the table is...
What's up, guys? I'm Jessica Carroll.
Hey, everybody. I'm Justin Nichols. And what an exciting episode.
What an exciting episode. And unpredictable, to say the least.
Yes.
A little too unpredictable, as you can tell from my last week's prediction.
All of us were way off.
Way off. We're just not doing good this season, I feel like.
No, we are not.
Well, this is definitely a good episode. Do you want to introduce our special guest on the couch?
Yes.
She didn't know she was going to be introduced on the AfterBuzz show.
Well, just so we can say hi. She's beautiful. Your mom's beautiful.
Yes, everyone. My mother is here in Los Angeles visiting me. She's traveled the entire world, and she's finally back in the United States, and she came to visit her pride and joy.
Hey.
Say hi to my mom, everyone.
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
And what's fun, I feel like you're kind of on your own little mini Amazing Race, because you're like, she's flown from Australia.
She did.
And then she's in town for what, a couple more days, and then she's off to Canada.
Yep.
Like, I can't even keep up with the stories.
It's amazing, the world. You have to seek and conquer and explore. And
I need you to take me with you. That's how easy this is.
That could be arranged.
Yes! I know. Love you.
Favorite mom now, right? Bring
Winning it.
She's a little globetrotter over there.
I love it. I mean, why not? When you have the chance, just go and explore the world.
And happy early St. Patrick's Day, everyone. James is already wearing green in honor of St. Patrick's Day. We missed out on the memo.
I didn't get that memo. I'll be there celebrating tomorrow.
I'll have my green beer tomorrow.
Do you guys participate in the pinching if you don't wear green?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
So don't forget to wear green tomorrow, everyone. Otherwise, you'll get pinched. Let's dive into episode number 4, The Great Amazing Nasty Race, where teams travel from Phuket to Bangkok. So they're still in Thailand, which I don't hate because I think Thailand is a beautiful country.
Beautiful.
Don't hate.
At the start of the episode, teams get the route info that tell them to fly to Bangkok, Thailand, where teams will land, and they must make their way to the Buddhist temple Wat Yanawana.
You said that like bang on.
For their next clue.
Were you practicing that? Like all day?
I just thought it was a really funny name. Wat Yanawana.
It sounds kind of like Miss Tijuana. You know?
Wat Yanawa.
TJ.
Wat Yanawa.
Yeah, exactly. We're really good at
The first team, Mike and Rochelle, leaving at 3:26 a.m. And then it was fun to see how far behind Harley and Jonathan really were, because they left at 7:01 a.m., which is almost like a 3.5 hour, 4 hour difference.
They had a lot of catching up to do.
A lot of
it's so funny for you two. They're not on your fantasy team, but I didn't find it very funny. All right, let me just tell you right there. I need them to hurry up.
At least they weren't eliminated last week, Justin.
Yeah, at least you still have a team. I'm the only one missing a team.
Oh, are
no wonder
you?
my points
we'll
are
see
so
how this
far
goes
behind.
for us.
Well, because of Kurt and Bergen giving their date night ticket to Matt and Ashley, we saw that those lovebirds have recently engaged. Yeah. We're getting to experience a little date night on the beach in Thailand, which looked like a beautiful little date night.
Yes.
It did.
With the little twirling of the fire.
It was gorgeous. But you know what I'm noticing is that these date nights are just putting those teams right back at the bottom of the bus.
They get a little distracted almost.
A little too relaxed.
They get out of their competition race mode, and then they're just cruising through.
Fall to the back of the pack.
Yeah.
That's a great point, Jess. But here's the thing. I hope that next season, even if they're not doing the blind date thing or whatever, I hope they continue to do date nights, because it's really fun to see what happens when they're not racing.
And experience the culture of the country they're in.
And it only takes like 30 seconds to see it. So it's not like we're wasting too much of the time of the race, but it's neat to see.
And I think it's nice that they get a little break,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
bonus along the race.
Well, a big congratulations once again to team hairstylist Matt and Ashley for their engagement.
I know. How
In
cute.
second place leaving was Haley and Blair at 351, Jelani and Jenny at 352, Lauren Tyler 354, C stacking on top of each other, which we saw in last week's episode, Allie and Steve at 358, and then Matt and Ashley 401, Bergen and Kurt 402, and then Jeff and Jackie at 403. So now the teams get their route info and they're traveling to Bangkok, Thailand. We see that the team Truck Stop Love make a really good point. They're one of the only teams that we haven't really seen bicker or fight. And that's working out to their advantage.
For sure.
I think it also shows you with The Amazing Race that there are some challenges where you need to be in, like, peak top physical shape. But at the same time, like, I mean, I don't think they would ever say, like, they are, like, the most fit athletes in the world, but because they work together so well, that can trump, I think, sometimes being the most physically fit team.
Right.
You know,
Like, they
For
struggle
sure.
with the challenges, but they work so well together that they are surpassing other teams who can do it maybe faster.
I mean, I've always said, all of us have always said that communication between the two teammates is so crucial. And that's why, you know, that having this twist with the blind dates is, we're now starting to see how they're communicating.
And they handle stress really well,
Yeah.
unlike some teams, which we saw this episode. Speaking of a team that doesn't really handle stress well or get along or communicate, that Haley and Blair. But Blair did say that, you know, he's getting tired of the nipping and the nagging nonsense that Haley has a tendency
Blair,
to do.
so am I.
Me too.
I'm
Me
right there with
three.
you, Blair.
And he's tired of taking the blame.
Yeah.
But, which we will see, we'll talk about later on in the episode, he wanted to give her control and held her accountable for mistakes, which we'll get to a little later because we did see what that ultimately led to.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Do you think, James, because you're really good at analyzing like maybe what the producers are trying to have us think.
Sure.
Do you think that maybe, I hope this is the truth, they show her in such a negative way and like their relationship? Do you think it could be one of those things where they actually end up like super in love at the end of the race and they're just trying to like throw us for a loop?
Here's the deal. I don't know if you guys are friends with
He's got
He's
the inside
clearly, yeah.
scoop.
I was going to bring this up later, but since we are on the
sorry,
topic of
jumped ahead.
Haley
We
and
can go
Blair.
back. We can go back.
No, this is good. So I don't know if you guys, are you friends with Haley on Facebook?
I don't know.
Okay, I added her
We
on
should be.
Facebook. She is on my fantasy team. I ended up following her on Instagram because I saw some posts from, you know, you can sync social media together. There have been a lot of pictures lately of the two of them. So if there isn't any romance between the two of them, they definitely formed a strong bond or relationship.
Okay.
I mean, like, look at some of these pictures.
And are these pictures
What's
from
her-
the race though?
You what?
Are these from the race?
No, this is them in St. Pete. I feel like we're stalking
Shut
social media right now.
What's her Instagram so everyone else can check it out?
If you want to follow Haley on Instagram and get in on this little gossip, it's Haley Ann RN on Instagram.
All right.
And
Haley
yeah,
Ann
you
RN.
just see a lot of pictures of the two of them recently in St. Pete together. And they also have little videos that they made.
Oh my gosh.
So I'd be curious to know if maybe this transpired into a romantic relationship.
But that brings up a good point, is editing can twist any story around.
Well, I just feel like, yeah, because when you watch her, she complains so much that I was like, there's got to be a reason why there, because everything's about storyline,
Right.
right? So there's got to be an end to the storyline of how can she handle her? And I'm like, watch them just like throw us with this like crazy loop,
Yeah.
and they're gonna start one win, or they're gonna start editing in the parts where he's like, let's work together, and like, and you start to see that this episode, I'm like, they are totally gonna fall for each other. You wait and see.
Well, the thing is they might be bickering, but they're still at the top of the bus.
They're a really strong team somehow.
Somehow.
Dear
so I
God,
really
how?
do think it has to do a lot about editing. And you know,
Patience.
she's like on my last nerve. Like her voice, I just can't stand it. But it always brings me back to the Ice Queens. When we
Two seasons ago,
would
three.
we would talk
Misjudge them, yeah.
misjudge them. We're like, oh, these girls are so annoying. They have no skills. And then we meet them in person, and we're now like best friends with them.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they really are great.
So maybe if we met Haley, I'm sure if I met you in person, you're probably the cutest thing in the world. But
I still think she's adorable. I just find there's something very
I will
endearing
say-
about her.
In all fairness, because I'm sure you're not gonna get reamed by her, probably with Facebook friends. But I'm just saying, in James's defense, he has been on your team since day one.
I just think she's, I don't know. I just think she's getting a poor edit.
How about you hang out with her first and smooth over the edges?
Maybe I should talk to her first.
So that she knows we don't hate her. We just can't stand her.
Seal3081 on the live chat right now said, I don't believe it's editing. I think it's just her personality. The only way for her to redeem herself is if she apologizes.
Ooh.
We haven't seen her apologize once.
Seal.
But, I mean, who knows? Maybe these two, well, maybe they're the storyline where we'll see growth and development of her becoming closer with Blair and actually end up working together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you said.
Good gossip, James.
And you know who else really surprised me? Her attitude kind of took a 360 was Jenny.
Huge turn in this episode.
Yeah.
Little sassy.
Yeah.
Little sassy Jenny came
Very
out.
You kind of saw a different side to her.
Where different. Oh, what were we gonna say just now?
And so people are right now on live right now, and they're talking.
Oh, yeah, we have a great live chat going on right now.
So everyone that's watching it live right now, keep it up. Thanks. This is so exciting.
Keep the conversation going with us. It's like you're in studio with us right now.
There we go.
But, Jenny may have had her little moment this episode, but Team SoCal seems to be doing pretty well again, which is no surprise. We had Tyler saying, we are having a good time and enjoying each other's company, and Laura's agreeing with that. She thinks that Tyler is very smart and attractive, but she thinks that romance should be organic. And I have to agree with her. You can't really force it, especially in a situation like The Amazing Race. It's not really going to end up organic.
Is that her saying, though, there's no chemistry, would be nice about it? Or do you think they're just really focused on the race and there could be chemistry later on?
I can see the chemistry between the two of them for sure.
I feel like the chemistry is very possible. I just think that she honestly is very focused on the race.
Okay. I
Because they work well together. They haven't been bickering at all, and I think that they would be such a cute couple. I hope that they end up.
And some relationships start from really good friendships. So
right.
So with her whole organic mantra, I mean, maybe after the race they went on a few dates, and now they're.
What's your gossip with that, James? Are they still together?
I don't know. But I'm glad we had our little gossip session about Haley. So everyone go follow them on Instagram and fill us in if you find anything suspicious or interesting.
Yeah. All about it.
So the teams make their way to the airport, which ultimately turns out to be an equalizer because all the teams are on the same flight, minus Harley and Jonathan.
I know, poor guys.
Once the teams land in Bangkok, which this is when we start to see sassy Jenny come out, there's a little bit of taxi drama. We see Jeff and Jackie snag a taxi at the same time as Jelani and Jenny, which causes some sparks to fly. I thought it was a little ridiculous for Jelani to get so heated about them getting a taxi. I don't know. What do you guys think about that whole situation?
I just, I always love when the villain comes out of people.
I do too.
I just love that nastiness. So I was like, go for it, Jenny. But then Jelani was bickering about how it was, you shouldn't treat your teammate or another teammate like that. And
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Taxi cabs are always going to be, and I think that they got way too heated over something so small. If a team, totally ruins your chances of winning the Amazing Race, get angry, but, there's a million taxi cabs there. It's at a very busy international airport. Just shut up and get the next cab.
And I think that was Jenny's kind of point was she's like, rather than waste our time arguing about a taxi, let's just get the next one behind it. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, move forward.
And there actually was a bonus clip on the YouTube, which Mr. Airsonic, who's watching live right now, is pointing out too. I watched it before coming here. Their argument went on for a little while, but they weren't yelling at each other. It was very valid, very legal lawyer talk, very direct in their stance, and they both made very good points. So I don't know. We'll see if they self-destruct further in the race.
The legal side of them is coming out.
I have really liked them this whole season, so I really hope they can figure out their communication issues and the stress levels of the race and bring it back together.
Yeah. Well, this was the first episode we even saw them bicker. I mean, they've been a great team so far.
Yep.
Thanks for agreeing with me, guys.
In unison.
As teams make their way, they end up at the Watayanawa. Let's say it together. Ready?
Watayanawa. Totally butchered that.
I love how Justin just
That's how I'm gonna do the whole rest of this episode.
Yeah.
Laura and Tyler arrive first, where they receive their clue for the detour, which is water versus wheel. And I thought this was interesting because no matter which detour you chose, you had to take a form of transportation that's pretty popular in Thailand. And both detours had 2 stops each. So it wasn't just one task that they had to accomplish, it was 2.
Yeah.
Which made it, I thought it was kind of cool because that's never really been seen before on the race.
I loved that each, the wheel or the water, they both had 2 different challenges. So, or little speed bumps along the way. So I loved that.
And I also really liked, too, it was a great way to see the city. I feel like I kind of sightseeing along the way because sometimes you get so caught up in just the challenges, they don't have time to show you the city that they're in, but this was a great way to like see them on the water, and they passed by all these beautiful places, and it was really neat. It was a unique way to see.
And what were we going to say?
What would you have chosen?
Based on what we know, I think I absolutely would have chosen the wheel.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Have you ever ridden in a tuk-tuk?
No, I think it'd be fun though.
Terrifying.
It'd be an experience. I just think I would have a huge issue with eating an 1,000-year-old egg. Those things were black. Those were disgusting looking. Sure, maybe high in protein, but I don't need to be sick for the rest of the leg. And I know my stomach pretty well and what it can handle, and I don't think it could have handled an 1,000-year-old egg.
I would have much rather been on the water in that water taxi. I've ridden in a tuk-tuk before, actually with my mom, and they are very scary, very dangerous, and they don't go fast at all. Traffic, I have enough traffic just living in Los Angeles. I try to avoid it at all costs. So I would have definitely chosen the water, and I would have done anything to avoid the cats. I hate cats. I am not a cat person at all. So if I had to eat a 1,000-year egg, I would have done that.
You do realize how passionate cat fans are out there. I cannot wait to be bombarded with like cat fanatics on Facebook.
You cat lovers, you guys can fight me all you want. I'm dog all the way, and cats, like, ugh.
I'm team dog too.
You just created a war.
I just created a war, but I'm ready to bring it.
Now we're gonna go to Team Justin.
No, stay on Team Jess.
What about you, Justin? What would you have done?
All the help I can get. I would have chosen water just for what you mentioned. I think I mentioned it last week, so I probably sound like a broken record, but anytime you can get off the streets of a busy town, do it.
Yeah.
So I think water, you avoid the traffic, the congestion, the chaos, and it's harder to get lost on a river than all these million streets. So I would have just tried to go with what I thought was the fastest way to get from the next stop, the water.
Yeah.
For everyone who's watching live right now, comment below. I want to know, would you have chosen the wheel portion of the detour or the water detour? Let's see what has the highest poll.
And are you cat or dog?
Team cat or dog? Or team wheel or water? But you said you had done the fastest route, which is the water part of the detour. But we quickly found out there was a limited amount of boats, which ended up backfiring on Blair and Haley. And for those of you who are just tuning in, we're talking about the detour. For the water portion, Laura and Tyler, Matt and Ashley, Allie and Steve, and Rochelle and Mike and Bergen and Kurt all went to the water. But because Haley and Blair were last in that lineup, there was only 5 boats available, which forced Haley and Blair, rather than losing time and waiting around for a boat to come back, to go do the wheel part of the detour, which again is the same thing that happened to Jeff and Jackie and Jelani and Jenny.
Yeah, Allie and Steve got so lucky because they were standing with Haley and Blair, and I like how quickly Allie and Steve were like, they were all friendly, and then when that last boat showed up, they're like, oh no, that's ours, see ya, gotta go.
That's my team. Go, guys.
They did well.
All right, the results are in.
James, I'm gonna predict that James, you're the only one in the world that said the tuk-tuk.
I'm pretty sure I am the only one that said they would have done the wheel detour. Everybody's saying water, 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 detour, water, water.
Who said detour?
And so everyone's saying team dog.
Dog!
So everyone's still on Team Jess. But yeah, a lot of people are saying they would have chose the water detour because of the traffic in Bangkok. And
then this is also where we saw Haley and Blair do a little cat fight again.
More bickering. Shocker. Which is so funny because, you know, like we talked about at the beginning of the episode, we heard that Blair in an interview was tired of the nipping and nagging nonsense that Haley has a tendency to do, and that he was going to give her more control so that she can be accountable for those mistakes. And immediately when we saw them arrive at the temple, he's like, here, you're in control. You take charge, take the lead. And she's like, okay, so what do you want to do? And immediately came back at her with a question, back to Blair with a question, and I was like, oh my God. What?
I feel like she wants to she wants the control, but she also needs his opinion and his, you know, to make sure that, okay, do you actually want to do this? Like,
yeah. It drove me crazy, James. Like,
me too.
There were points there. Trust me, I need the $1 million. But there were parts and times where I'm like, if I was him, at this point in the race, I'd be like, you know what? Screw this.
Oh my gosh! And
I'm just gonna go to the resort and wait for the race to be done.
I was watching this episode with a few other guys, and they were just like, if this was my partner, I would put a duct tape over her mouth. Like, I would shut her up because her voice. I mean, hopefully I'm not the only one, but Haley, I feel bad, but I probably would love you in real life, but
We just lost one after. We just lost one AfterBuzz listener. Sorry, Haley.
Last.
We love you.
In the wheel detour, actually, we'll start with water because that's what everyone's saying that they would do. In the water detour, teams had to take a long-tail water taxi and get dropped off at the Wat Klong food market where they were having to eat a 1,000-year-old egg, which is so gross. This is like this is another question that I had when I was watching this portion. On the way to the actual water taxis, we saw Bergen and Kurt and Mike and Rochelle say, hey, like, let's pick a detour together and work with each other, which I love. I love when teams work together. They get to the water taxis, they do their thing. When they arrive to the market, where was Mike and Rochelle?
We never saw them eat their egg.
And we never saw them with Bergen and Kurt either. Like, Bergen and Kurt showed up at the market, and I was like, okay, if you're working with another team, where are they?
How'd this happen?
So maybe the taxi I don't know. I would just love to know, like, what happened.
Yeah.
But
I was actually really impressed on how everyone ate their egg. There was not a lot of complaining. I mean, Laura, girl, I give you props. She just ate that thing, like plugged her nose and just ate it.
It was a little gaggy. But you know what I loved the most? I was dying laughing. On Team Justin, we've got Matt and Ashley. It's bad enough to have to do this once. They did it twice because they just started eating eggs once they arrived to the market.
I would have been so mad at myself to eat two of those.
No.
They went to the wrong egg stand and just started eating.
Yo, I would have been so disgusted.
Oh my
Lesson
gosh.
learned.
Yeah.
But see, Bergen was
first.
like, it wouldn't be right here. There's no way. And Bergen and Kurt did the right thing and just ran past them.
My team's pretty, all right? They're pretty, but...
I loved how Bergen and Kurt did their little distracting dance as they were like eating their egg. They were just dancing like, okay, we're just gonna eat this egg. Let's not think about it.
Just plug your nose and go.
And Ashley like almost came right back out.
I loved watching Bergen and Kurt eat the egg though, because they were like jumping up and down like while they're eating. I think if I was in that situation, I would totally have to do something, move something to keep my mind off what I'm eating.
Me too. Like that's why I said they were doing a little distraction dance.
The smell of the whole market while the idea of it freaks me out.
Not as freaky as the cats, so we're still okay.
I would be a lot better, like eating something, I'll just swallow it. I wouldn't even just swallow it whole if I could. Just get it down.
I think you would die.
I would die?
Yucky.
I don't know.
We also find a little bit more about Bergen and Kurt's relationship because Bergen said that he's had to work hard for everything that he has in his life. Whereas, Kurt is kind of the exact opposite where he comes from a really well-off family and, they're polar opposite in that sense. And we've seen at the beginning of this race, Kurt be like, I'm here, I've never been in a relationship before, and so I'm hoping to find love. And as the episodes go on, they find out that they're really not meant for each other. They're better as friends. So I think this is when we start to see Kurt really stepping up his A game, because I was worried at first that he would let the romance part of it or looking for love kind of interfere with the competition. Yeah. And I think we're seeing a little bit of growth with Bergen and Kurt as a team, mainly because Kurt is becoming more competitive.
Well, you know what happened is I think they took the stress off trying to find chemistry between each other or like try to create a relationship. I think now that they've opened up and just been like, there's no chemistry between the two of us, I think that they've taken that weight off their shoulders and now they're just teammates and just friends and trying to win the Amazing Race.
I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
And also, though, I think that of all the teams, when we did our pre-show episode, I think this was the most underestimated team. Because not only did all of us not think that they were going to make it as far as they have, but I think that even our fans who have been commenting on our YouTube page and on social media, it didn't seem like anyone was really thinking that Kurt and Bergen would go as far as they did and do really well. So, I mean, I think we've underestimated them. They're doing great right now.
Yeah, they're killing it.
It's Seal3081 to add to the conversation said, I kind of thought that Kurt doesn't look like or seem like he came from money, more just for the experience to be on the race. But now that the romance has ended, I think Kurt is going to go all out, which is kind of what we agreed upon. And I think someone also mentioned that earlier on in the season, Kurt did mention that he came from money and that he wasn't really here for that. Yeah. I mean, I could be mistaken. Please correct me.
Yeah,
I think that's why why Bergen's little interview was put there. Yeah. Because Kurt did mention that, right?
Right. He came on the race for the experience and not so much the money, whereas Bergen really needs the money and it's a little more at stake for him.
So, Keep it up, Team Blonde. Once, so let's talk about the wheel portion of the detour. The only one who would have done it in the room, me. The wheel detour had teams take a tuk-tuk, drop them off at Wat Paknam Basharon, the Sugar Club, where they had to sink a red ball. I thought it was going to be a lot more challenging than that. I thought they were going to have to play locals in a game of pool.
Yeah, this was up there with me with like that noodle competition from 2 episodes ago, where it's like we've all been to a pool hall. You can't shoot pool. It wasn't like you have to make it this crazy hard shot. It was literally get the red ball in the hole.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
And first of all, half of the balls were red, so it's not like you had one red ball.
Red. Yeah.
I didn't understand, because clearly that's not a standard or traditional game of billiards. It's different. So I want to know how that game is played.
Yeah, it's different, but they only had to get one of like 10 red balls.
It should have been each teammate had to sink a ball. Or 2.
Or play the game and have to win against some like person in the country. I don't know.
Like a pro, pro at the Sugar Club.
Honestly, I feel like, just comparing the two, what do you call it, challenges along the way between the water and the wheel challenges were a lot easier.
I would agree.
But I think probably because maybe the travel distance was going to be longer, so they needed an easier challenge to be more fair. I don't know, but they did seem easy, because after they sunk the ball into the hole, whatever you want to call it, they then had to, they got like the milk?
The milk, and then they had to go to
the Catterday Cafe.
The most Jessica is not doing well right now.
Sounds horrible.
But here's what and this is also right up there with the billiards challenge. So you take this little jug of milk and you go to this cafe where it's just full of cats, and God, they're ugly. But anyway, so you then have to just fill up this bowl, and it's not like you have to like wait for the cats to drink the milk. Like the first team who has the most cats. There was no challenge. It was like, oh, congratulations, you dumped a bottle of milk into a bowl.
Yeah.
Wow. Here's your clue.
Honestly, they were just like, okay, here's the cup, here's the milk. All right, we're done.
There was no challenge.
There was no challenge.
You should have to get like 20 cats to come sit on your lap and drink the milk, and then you can go.
Right.
Or like wrangle 5 cats.
They should have had to like wait until the bowl was empty and then left.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
That's what I was thinking was going to happen, and then the girl just gave them the clue.
Good job. You're good at pouring milk.
Yeah.
You didn't drink it.
Challenging.
Who was like, good thing I didn't drink the milk. Knowing Justin, we were actually just talking about this, and Justin actually orders milk at a nice restaurant. Who else does that?
I go through almost a gallon a day. Isn't that insane?
I can't even talk about that.
Milk and cats are like my 2 things on the hate list.
No.
And Blair's girlfriend Haley.
Oh, we had Haley. Okay, Haley. No, I don't hate you. Don't be putting words in my mouth. I don't hate you.
I'm just kidding.
We didn't talk about the second stop for the water portion of this detour, and that was the teams had to travel to Wat Paknam Fasai Carroll.
You should get an award today.
Yeah, you got that. We're not even going to try to repeat that one.
No.
Where they had to choose one of the apprentices to assist them in making a traditional offering. When the offering was complete, the monk would hand them their next clue. I loved this whole thing.
Loved it.
This is where I would have been like, I wish I would have done the water portion of the detour. The whole shaking of the container and having one fortune fall out was so interesting to me. I couldn't have been more funny how Bergen and Kurt's fortunes played out, because Bergen's was not likely to find a mate at this stage of life or whatever.
I couldn't believe it.
And then Kurt, exact opposite, where discovering a mate could become a satisfactory match. Yikes,
No.
maybe that's why it's not working out for them.
Yeah. No, but see, I loved this portion because whenever you travel, it's always so interesting to find and indulge yourself in their culture.
100%.
And this was so neat to like see how, they do their Thai prayer, and even like shaking the thing and having one stick fall out. I just loved the entire thing, and I feel bad for the wheel people that they didn't get to experience that. They were just stuck there with the cats. Sucks for them.
There's cats in every country. Not a cultural experience. So for the teams that, let's talk about Harley and Jonathan for a second. They finally end up getting to Bangkok. They have to do a speed bump before they even get their detour clue, which is the Thai grasshopper speed bump, where Harley and Jonathan had to make a traditional Thai grasshopper using river reeds. Cool.
I would have. Okay, so did you guys ever do like paper mache where you had to like make?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. that stuff, like, this would have taken me forever.
Well, I think that's what they wanted you to think, but then I think there was a comment by one of them there, like, oh, because I think it was all, like, pre-assembled, they just kind of had to, like, snap them together, almost like Lego.
And, like, put in the missing pieces.
Yeah, like, it didn't seem like it was that long of a challenge, and so that's why when they got it, I was like, they might have a shot at this.
Yeah.
They didn't, but...
That was editing.
Yeah.
Magic of editing.
I was fooled.
I don't know. I love the challenges that we really get to see the country and their culture, and I felt like this was just kind of thrown in there. Along with some of the challenges this episode were just kind of random.
Super random.
You know?
Except the water portion of the detour. Eating an egg. I'm sorry.
You gotta get over this, James. It's an egg.
It would have been a big problem.
Obviously, if they're gonna have all the teams eat it on the show, clearly it's edible.
Yeah.
So...
Not gonna die, James.
It's like a delicacy.
And it was black, you guys. If you haven't watched the episode, it was literally black and like gelatin inside. Nastiness.
Let's not relive this.
We have some mixed feelings from our viewers about the speed bump. Some people say it looked really, really hard, and others are saying it was boring.
I think that they wanted you to think it was gonna be hard, so I get our comments from that. But then I think once they realized it was pretty easy, they just had to snap them together.
It was boring to watch, though.
Right.
Like, what we're supposed to watch is them put grass together, make a grasshopper. Like, it was boring.
We really should just be hired The Amazing Race to think of our own challenges because we're so critical of all the challenges. Like, just hire us.
We should be challenge testers.
Yes.
What works and what doesn't work.
Exactly. Do you know what's so random, though? Speaking of that, this is going to be the weirdest comment ever. It was really interesting this episode because for the first time, there were quite a few shots. You saw the other camera crews and sound guys.
I did see that.
Really?
I know.
Yeah, like they never let you see that on The Amazing Race because it ruins the illusion that they're just there on their own.
Yeah.
But what's so about this episode, and I'm sure that we're the only ones interested in this because we work in television.
Yeah.
But I was so surprised. Like I kept freeze framing it, and I could show you like 8 different camera guys this episode.
Oops.
And like their cameras and their microphones.
It could have been our new drinking game this episode.
Yeah.
Every time we see a production member, take a shot.
Get out of the shot.
We got a new drinking game. Whenever
Too
Haley
funny.
and Blair complain, take a shot or a
I
drink.
think someone actually in the chat said that, and I forgot to mention earlier. They said you can make a drinking game out of how many times she
Complains.
nags.
We'd be so drunk.
We'll be wasted.
But anyway, so we have to keep moving on, like the race does. And so after this, Jonathan and whatever, they did this grass thing.
Then they made their way to the detour, which they ultimately chose wheel.
Mm-hmm. They did the wheel, but then we go on to the roadblock.
Roadblock.
We did. But before we go to the roadblock, let's talk about everyone subscribing to our YouTube and our iTunes and
That is important.
making us the #1 show here at AfterBuzz, because we are, if I'm not mistaken, are in the top 20, and we have been pretty consistently of all the shows here at AfterBuzz, and that's pretty awesome. So continue to rate, comment, and subscribe on iTunes, and also everyone who's watching live. I know you see that thumbs up on this video. Just press it. Give us a thumbs up, and keep chatting with us and connect with us on social media, because we love to keep the conversation going all week long. I mean, every Monday I know I'm going to wake up to 20 tweets from Tennessee and Hale, aka our special correspondent Allie, who just loves to give us feedback every single week, which I look forward to. Where can they find you guys on Twitter?
You guys can find me at DressJessXO, and I just have to say, Allie, I love waking up to seeing 36 notifications on Twitter.
Yes.
Girl, you make me feel so loved, and I love you just as much. So thanks, and keep it up.
Look at that. You can find me at Justin J. Nichols. And speaking of YouTube, I'm just looking at
Last week?
all the weeks, and the views are like real high. So
I love hearing that.
Not even for our live watchers. We love having you guys here, but for everyone that's when you get home from work or maybe in your car right now, I mean, we're getting like 6,000-7,000 views for each half an hour that we're putting on this
we're
podcast.
Getting close to the 10,000.
We told you if we get any of that, get to the 10,000, we'll have to do something really ridiculous and stupid.
Yes.
So I'm getting nervous.
You guys, if we get to 10,000 views, you guys can dare the three of us to do whatever you want. I mean,
Within reason.
Okay, we have a few babies on the team, I guess.
But some of our things are up to 6,000. So we're at 6,000 per...
We should eat a 1,000-year-old egg. What if there's like is there a Thai town in LA? I don't even know.
Oh, God.
And we just make our way down there and eat a 1,000-year-old egg.
Jessica's mom, will you send us to Thailand to eat 1,000-year-old eggs? Thanks.
Hey, I'm down to go to Thailand. That's for sure. Maybe AfterBuzz will send us.
For 10,000.
I need to give a big shout out before we move on to Jitendra Kilnani. I think I mentioned her name last week. I always butcher it, but she's actually in India watching the show.
Team India.
She is watching it right now, and it's 4:30 a.m.
Girl, go to bed.
Oh, girl.
That is dedication.
That is dedication, and I just have to say, I fell in love with your country. I love India. I would go back in a heartbeat.
No, I'm just kidding. Don't go to bed. We're glad that you're here listening, and hopefully we're waking you up in the morning.
Yes.
Not putting you to sleep.
And P.S. Shout out to Justin from Olivia Miller. She's hashtag Team Justin.
You got one.
That sounds about right.
Dang.
We love Justin.
I'm just saying, scoreboard. Last season I won, so 1 point on the board for me.
And welcome, Sweet 66. This is the first time watching our show live, so thank you very much for tuning in.
Thank you. But James, seriously, we have to get to the roadblock.
Yeah.
We do have to get to.
Yes.
I'm sorry. People are really chatty today. Who's feeling clutch? Clearly, I'm not. I'm all over the place right now.
I think he's at. What's in his cup over there?
Sprite. Roadblock is who's feeling clutch. A teammate had to become a grease monkey by removing the transition from a faulty engine block and searching for a screwdriver that has their next clue. What do you guys think of the roadblock?
I would have failed.
No, miserably.
Failed.
I don't even know where to begin.
I literally could not even tell you what a transmitter looks like.
And it was to show you how long you were doing. It was a transmission. A transmitter is like, I think they use like satellite beams or something. So yeah, you would have failed miserably because I don't think there's a transmitter on these old engines for one. But I think they were looking for a transmission.
I wrote down transmission. I just said it wrong.
It's okay. It's like waterboard or ski board.
Yeah.
Whatever we did last week. Water skis, wakeboarding.
Words are hard. All right. Words are hard. No, this would have been really challenging because I think you get to know like what the tools did. There was no instructions. You know what parts and what was the transmission, what was the transmitter, like whatever it was.
Hold on, you guys.
Hard.
To keep the laughs going for just 1 second. Steel 3081 just said if we get 10,000 views, James needs to eat a 1,000-year-old egg and then Jessica has to face an army of cats.
Oh my god!
Yes, and then see if I just hang back and relax. That'd be great. I'm just the cheerleader.
Or eat a 1,000-year-old cat while eat a 1,000-year-old egg, not a cat. Eat a 1,000-year-old egg while feeding a cat, and that was a recommendation from Salper.
I like eating a 1,000-year-old
Okay,
cat.
I don't like the challenge anymore.
You gotta eat a cat.
No, I'm not eating a cat.
Back to the roadblock.
Yes.
Fra Bitruda.
The transmission.
Fra Bitruda just said, I was surprised at how many people had connections to cars, and I will totally agree with that.
Yeah.
You saw a lot of the people that did the roadblock were like, oh, my uncle, like Matt, my uncle, he's a mechanic, and then Tyler's like, oh, my whole family has mechanics, my grandfather would be proud, and even Bergen was like, oh yeah, my dad fixes things all the time, it's not a big deal for me.
Yeah.
So we see Tyler, Bergen, Steve, Matt, Blair, Jeff, Jelani, Rochelle, and Jonathan all do the roadblock. I thought it was interesting that Rochelle doesn't know how to change a tire, and she did this roadblock, but she killed it.
She killed it. She got it like the fastest of anyone.
Yeah.
And she was the one I'm glad you brought up because what was so great was it's not even the fact that Rochelle did so well. It was the fact that the other ladies who were waiting for their partners to be done, they were already in a bad mood. So then to see Mike and Rochelle just kind of waltz on in there, and she's like, I don't know what I'm doing. 5 seconds later, she's done and she comes back. And just the look on Jenny's eyes while she was waiting for Jelani, like she wanted to kill a girl because Rochelle's like, oh, it was great, so easy, bye.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
This team, I'm really digging them. I like them.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how, out of all the teams that leave this roadblock, Bergen and Kurt were first. They got there pretty late at the roadblock, but they were in first place overall.
Here's where I get confused though, because my team, Tyler and Laura, they did really well this leg.
Yeah.
And they were the first ones to be done with the roadblock.
Yeah.
And I don't think they did a very good job this episode of maybe showing, but like, what the hell happened from the roadblock? Because it wasn't even like they fell behind and like missed it by one spot. Like, you didn't see them come to the mat for much later. I'm like, where the hell did they go?
Okay, so when they got the clue that said Metal Castle, they were taken to the Metro.
Oh yeah, they were
taken to the Metro, and that clearly put them way back behind.
Yeah.
And then Matt and Ashley were like, oh, Metal Castle. And they somehow ended up back at the roadblock.
A lot of communication issues with this one.
A lot of communication issues.
This was funny, trying to find the metal castle, which ended up actually being a Buddhist temple.
Called Loha Prasad.
But I think you saw...
Loha Prasad.
I think you, though, saw a really good strategy being used by some of the teams. When you're in a foreign country, find someone who speaks both languages, English and the native country, and have them write down how to say this in the native language.
Right.
Because the teams that did that would just... Because the cab drivers that kept saying Metal Castle, and the cab drivers said they didn't know where they were going to go, they all, I'm sure, knew this very significant monument.
Right.
They just didn't know the English version. But the teams that had them wrote it down, just gave it to the taxi driver, they did really well.
Right.
Absolutely. Which is probably what led Bergen and Kurt to a first place finish.
Don't I feel like a total tool? Because if you recall my predictions, I was like, they are so going home this episode.
Yeah, they stepped it up.
Whoops.
And so no one got first place fantasy points this week.
I know.
Because the wild card, we should just split them up, our points, right? Just kidding.
You're like,
I could
Oprah,
use
you get a
some.
point. You get a point. Everybody gets a point.
Everybody gets
Except
a
for
point.
James. He's killing us.
Yeah, you have enough points.
Bergen and Kurt get first place, and they have a fun little celebration of the map. But then another shocker, which is kind of not a shocker because they did well last week, I believe, was Haley and Blair getting second. After all the bickering
Wait,
that
did
seems
Al
to
and
happen.
Steve get second or no?
No.
Haley and Blair got second, and then Allie and Steve got third place. Laura and Tyler, because they got lost, taken to the metro station, ended up getting fourth
But
place.
they did get the dinner cruise, the date night.
They did.
I cannot wait to see how this goes.
Me too, because I love them. That the cutest couple award.
Maybe that organic romance will start to come out on this river cruise.
Yeah.
But we won't know for another 3
her
weeks.
Looking there across the way. I think a Little Mermaid right now, right?
Oh my
They're all
gosh.
just like river
Right, we need to bring out a
cruise.
mic.
That's totally what I'm thinking about. Anyone else? No?
Should be a cute little
All
mermaid.
right. All right, so after Laura and Tyler, let's quickly
Fifth
move on.
place, Jeff and Jackie. Sixth place, Mike and Rochelle. Seventh place, Jelani and Jenny. Eighth place, Matt and Ashley. And then eliminated was Harley and Jonathan. But let's talk about the drama really quick before Jelani and Jenny, Matt and Ashley checked into pit stop. There was obviously some drama when getting a taxi. They obviously were working together for a little while. Like, let's stick together, find our way out of this mess. And then once they got directions, Jenny immediately was like, hey, Jelani, we have to get into a cab.
Yeah.
We have to leave them.
But that's not what they told Matt and Ashley.
Not at all.
They were like, let's run this. We're told it's just a 5 to 15 minute run. Like, we can easily do this. And then as soon as they got in whispering distance of each other, like, let's ditch them.
Right. And Jelani was like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know. I'm just getting in the cab. Like, acting as if he didn't know. But you know what? Karma. Karma will bite you in the butt because they ended up getting lost.
Yeah, and the thing though is that we had a comment on Twitter, and I forget their handles. I apologize, but they tweeted us this morning saying, "Would you have done that as far as just kind of sneaking off and getting the taxi?" But I think Jelani made a good point because he was kind of mad at Jenny for the idea because he goes, "I think they all were aware that Jonathan and Harley were behind them,
right?
Yeah.
So it's like you didn't really gain anything from being 7th and 8th place because they're gonna be minutes apart from each other. Now you put a big target on your back because Matt and Ashley are now no longer going to trust Jelani and Jenny, but yet they didn't really gain anything in the race by doing that. So would you have done that? Like,
Heck
snuck
no.
away?
There's no point. If you know there's a team behind, there's no point in causing enemies.
Right, because now they have a bullet on their back and they're going to be attacked.
And like I was saying, I mean, I love the drama of like the backstabbing. I like all that, but you do that when it's between the last two teams. Like that's when the backstabbing has come out because you got to get the $1 million.
Or you're in the top 3, yeah.
But if you are not going to miss out on a prize for getting first, or you're not going to get last, play nice.
Right.
You're going to need their help later on.
Seal 3081 again. Hairdressers falling down was like a scene from a melodrama, a real telenovela.
Yeah, and Ashley fell trying to catch up to the taxi.
This was dangerous.
I know, I felt bad for her. She's newly engaged, okay?
But at least they weren't eliminated, right? But
That's true.
poor Harley and Jonathan, lost place, could not catch up. But, you know, of course, this was one of Jonathan's dreams to run the Amazing Race, and he couldn't have asked for a better partner to do it with someone that he loves.
But they were on Team Justin.
They were on Team Justin.
I had such faith in them. So I shed a few tears.
Shall we do predictions?
Let's dive into predictions, y'all.
Just gonna be wrong.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Alrighty. since there was a roadblock this week, do we dare throw in the who's going to do a roadblock prediction?
No.
Okay.
No, it gets too complicated.
First and last place. What's going to happen?
Jess, please go first.
Okay. Let me use your pen. I want to write this down.
Okay. You don't trust James to do it?
No.
These points are getting a little shady, aren't they?
Yeah, somehow
I'm with
James
you,
is
Jess.
kicking our butts, and I'm going to start keeping track myself.
For those of you that are listening right now, if you're in your car, don't write this down. But for anyone else, write this down. Please be double checking James's points, because Jessica and I just so blindly acknowledge the points that were given by James, and then he's totally padding the scores because he is pulling away.
I just got really lucky with all my teams in first, second, and third one week. What are the odds?
This is our week. We're going to kill him.
Let's see.
So
I won't be here in 3 weeks.
I am going to predict that Allie and Steve, my team, is going to get first. I'm going to say that Jeff and Laura are going to get second. I mean Tyler. Laura and Tyler. And then going home, I'm going to say Matt and Ashley.
Okay.
Okay.
They're on my team too. Like I can't lose 2 teams in a row. This can't happen. All right, James. Here's what I think. I agree with you, Jess. They're not on my team, but I think Allie and Steve have kind of been this quiet threat.
Yeah.
They never do that poorly. They've been steadily climbing. They get along really well. So I think Allie and Steve, you're right, are going to be in first. All right, James, you got this?
Yep.
No cheating.
All right, we're out.
And then I think going home, I'm actually going to say, I'm going to go out on a wild card here and say Jeff and Jackie.
Really?
And last?
Yeah.
Who's getting second?
Oh, we're doing that too?
Yeah.
Oh, dear God. Laura and Tyler, of course.
Okay.
My team. They're doing great.
I'm going to say that Laura and Tyler get first.
Yes.
I feel like it's
Hope
been
you're
a long time coming, and they deserve it. And then I'm going to say in second place is going to be
Allie and Steve.
I'm going to say Mike and Rochelle.
Okay.
I
You
like them.
I like them. They're on my team, and they've been doing pretty well.
And what about going home?
Going home, I'm going to say Matt and Ashley.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to say Matt and Ashley go home this week. And for all of those who need an update on the points,
Oh, God, I don't even want to listen. It's
Team
embarrassing.
Jess has 25 points, Team Justin has 27, and then I have 40.
That
How
seems
is that
suspicious, right?
possible?
Seems very, very suspicious.
Yeah. Allie girl, you need to double check all his points. I know you've been telling him. You need to look
Hold
this
up.
up.
Joseph Boza, who's not even on my team, says I have 42.
Oh, God.
You said you had
Justin-
46, right?
40.
I said I have 40. He says I have 42. Justin has 27, and Jess is 26.
He's wrong. He's wrong. All right. I think I have like 52 is what I calculated. That's what I got.
I just know I'm in first.
So double check your math, James. Also for Team Justin, I think I have like 1 fan, but no, actually, I have seen some Team Justin fans on the YouTube comments.
Yep.
So and just shout outs in general. Tina Will, thanks girl. Teamer16, she just gave us our first shout out, and Team Justin, Seal 3081, I think he's on the live chat today.
Yes.
Special shout out, and of course our girl Sam Lane.
Yeah.
She keeps watching, she keeps tuning in, and then I think also to a very special fan who reached out to Jess and I privately on Facebook, and she said that she was, fans of the AfterBuzz show. So thank you so much. You know who you are, and we appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
What a great after show today, you guys.
Yes.
And
I'd
thank
like
you
to
again.
think
We had
so.
over 25 live viewers, keeping the interaction and the
25.
conversation going throughout our after show, which makes it a lot more fun and interactive for us. Joseph Boza, if you can tweet me like a spreadsheet of why the points are what you think they are, I would love to see it. And maybe I did have some miscalculations, and we'll go from there. But Justin, where can they find you on social media?
So you can find me once again at Justin J. Nichols, but really fast too. I wanted to give just a quick heads up too, because a lot of our listeners are here in Los Angeles. I'm so excited. One of the charities I'm working with is called Best Buddies. It was started by the Kennedy family, working with people with special needs, and they've asked me to host their friendship walk in Long Beach.
That's so exciting.
So I'm so excited. So I just wanted to give a quick heads up to anyone that's in the LA, Orange County area. Saturday, May 3rd, we're doing the Friendship Walk. A lot of celebrities are going to be there. It's going to be really fun. So if you're in LA, I would love to see you Saturday, May 3rd for the Friendship Walk. It's for a great cause. Thanks for letting me say that.
James and I will be there, buddies. You guys should come and join us.
That'd be amazing.
Maybe
It'd
we
be
should get
fun.
some local amazing racers to go, and then we'll do like a
gosh.
little special segment for our
That would
after
make the day
show.
even more special. So any support
yeah.
from any of you would be great, and I wanted to get that out there, and that's really sweet of you guys to give me the time.
Thanks for letting us know.
And you guys can find me at DressJessXO and let us know who you guys think is going to get first and go home next week.
And we're doing plugs real fast. Your blog is baller.
Oh, it's on
Oh my
point.
gosh.
It is so on point.
Guys.
Where is it again? Tell
It's
everyone what's
You guys can find my blog at dressjessexo.com.
And you've done some giveaways and stuff on there,
I do
haven't you?
giveaways and lots of
So if
fun
you like that
fashion,
kind of
fitness,
stuff.
and healthy lifestyle tips.
So check it out. And you can find me on Twitter at James Wallington and on Instagram at James.Wallington. And now on YouTube, where's Wallington? So it's my little travel vlog with my boyfriend. And I'll be releasing a new video this week of me exploring the Natural History Museum in New York City.
I'll be watching.
Yeah, well, until next week, you guys, continue to tweet us.
No, wait, there's a delay.
There's a delay.
We need to make sure everyone knows.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. I'm just so mad about this delay. 3 weeks, you guys. 3 weeks.
For those of you that are watching it here in the U.S., March Madness, a huge basketball tournament we have here in the United States, is going on, and it's going to be interrupting The Amazing Race. So just keep your eyes out. We'll make sure to tweet it when we're coming back. But I think it's about 3 weeks. You're right.
3 weeks, and maybe we'll come back a week before to just kind of do a little recap or just feel like catching up and
talk the dirt, get some gossip.
Yeah,
Because we'll
any
miss you
gossip.
guys.
Exactly. So remember, tweet us, keep the conversation going. Let us know if you're Team Jess, Team Justin, or Team James, and we'll see you in 3 weeks. Have a good one, you guys.
Bye, guys.
Everybody.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.